Atlantis Apartments came about because of the Atlantis Community Incorporated, which had offices in an old warehouse on the site of this new building. And existing facilities were pretty run down, and it was just packed full of all sorts of different things.
So the purpose of Atlantis Community Foundation is to provide affordable housing for people with disabilities. And it's not one segment or one type of disability that we're serving, but the broad range of disabilities from physical to mental to developmental. A location is critical for people with disabilities. As you can see by the location of this neighborhood, we're on the light rail system, we're on the bus lines, we are near jobs and commercial services. So Atlantis Apartments are both designed physically, and our operating budgets are designed for supportive services on site. It is critical that the residents of our properties, that they can turn to someone 24/7.
Another aspect of the building was so not only to provide kind of new offices and independent kind of living training facilities and residential units, but also to create this kind of hub, a gathering point for the accessibility community to really meet with policymakers and advocates so they could continue their work in expanding accessibility within the U.S.
Bluebird Apartments is in Boulder, Colorado, at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. We're in central Boulder, so great access to the rest of the city, great access to transit, great access to retail and jobs. And that's one of the things we love about this property is its location that's so central.
Bluebird Apartments is a project-based permanent supportive housing program that provides housing assistance. We have 42 residents here in 40 units. Provides housing for folks that normally wouldn't have been eligible for the traditional Section 8 route.
Those residents move in and they receive a housing voucher. So that means that the residents pay 30% of their income toward their rent, and then the voucher, through the Colorado Division of Housing, provides the balance of the rent.
Life and well-being and creating and recovery starts with the home. And then we help build from there. And we provide supportive services to create access to the things that we take for granted.
It's really important for clients to have on-site resources because they don't have to go find those resources. They're here in their home. You know, they can come down and ask one of their case managers for help getting in touch with a doctor or help getting in touch with mental health partners here in Boulder, or even just help going down to the local food bank.
I love it here. I love the safety here. The staff, they're wonderful. The joys, opening my own door, even taking out my own trash. That's joy too.
The Bluebird is a symbol of hope, joy, and renewal. And we love that this project is now generating hope, joy, and renewal, both for our residents, but also for our broader community here.
I live across the street, and this area was totally blighted. Shootings over here, and it was so awful. And every election season, you know, we tell the politicians about this place and could you do something? So when I saw these guys out there, finally one day I said, what are you guys doing? And Jeff said, we are claiming this space. We're praying for this space. And they did that for some years. And that's kind of how it got started. So Jeff and his crew started having neighborhood meetings. We did some visionary sessions on what we wanted this place to look like, but we knew we wanted change. But Jeff and his crew at Mile High Ministries kept it going. And then they started building, and again, we never imagined this. And once it was finished, it was just shocked me. It was so beautiful.
What brought me to Clara Brown Commons was starting over. And I went to the open house, and I was hearing a lot of great things. They talked about second chances, and they talked about the Lord and what their vision was. And their vision was something that I agreed with. And it was helping others, starting over, getting new opportunities. They may call it Clara Brown's Commons, but I call it my home. I walk in these doors, and you walk into community. This place is what was needed for people like me. That Clara Brown on that building out there represents all of us in this building, from Jeff all the way to the cleaning crew. We are Clara Brown. This place gave me my life.
Kit Carson is a small rural town of approximately 250 people. We're made up of oil field workers, ranchers, farmers, business people. The Kit Carson Affordable Housing Project began with a HUD Hope 6 Main Street application back in the fall of 2020. We were able to leverage quite a few other grants, a couple DOLA grants and a lot of matching grants, to develop 2 properties in the Main Street area of Kit Carson into 5 affordable housing units.
We're struggling with keeping enough population in the community in order to support the businesses we need, the grocery store, the gas station, the basic services that rely on those customers. And being able to do 5 homes at one time on 2 vacant properties was a huge move forward in providing housing for the community.
I was trying to go around town trying to find a great home for me and my 2 children. When I heard about the new houses being put in, I'm like, man, I just think that would be an amazing fit for my children. Having homes in this area is very important because we need to fill our schools. And without the homes, we can't fill our schools.
What I really think is important to note is that affordable housing in rural Colorado is essentially all housing in rural Colorado. We need housing in our community. We're not building multi-million-dollar homes. We're building homes that the core people in our community need to live in, to feel safe, and to be able to raise their families in. There is no housing in our community, much less affordable, but for now we can see these houses filled and know that it's a step in the right direction.
The Rose on Colfax is located on Colfax in Valencia. It's East Colfax corridor.
The Rose on Colfax is 83 units of affordable housing over a on-site early childhood education center. It's a really unique collaboration with the City of Denver and Mercy Housing.
This is considered a child care desert, so that's what prompted the collaboration and opportunity to partner with Mile High Early Learning to think about how we can bring affordable housing and childcare to a site that is along a transit corridor. So when you think about addressing the many social determinants of health, this particular property will do just that.
What brought my family and I to the Rose on Colfax, we were staying in an apartment after the pandemic. Our rent doubled. With rent doubling, we could not afford it. Unfortunately, my family and I were homeless for a while. And working with the VOA and the Key to Housing Project, they helped us do an application through Mercy Housing, and we were able to move in here.
The name The Rose on Colfax came from a poem from Tupac Shakur. Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law is wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared.
With staying here, I'm able to save. It is the most stability I've had in a long time. And I'm hoping maybe another 2-3 years I'll have enough for a down payment for our forever home.
In 2021, Habitat for Humanity of Colorado started looking at the rent reporting for credit building. We actually ran legislation in partnership with Representative Ricks, Representative Bradfield, and Senator Bridges. We started looking at this issue from a bigger picture. We were looking at the wealth gap
between communities of color. And from there, we really looked at, as a homeownership organization, we knew that the number one way that you can gain wealth is through homeownership.
And given that rent is one of the largest financial obligations that a renter takes on, this innovative housing solution allows renters, particularly renters that are credit invisible or have a weaker credit profile, to build their credit by having their timely rental payments reported to the credit bureaus.
So what this provides is an opportunity to build credit for just doing the things that we do every day, which for our residents is paying their rent on time. If you are not engaged in the credit system, it is really hard to become engaged with it. So this provides a really accessible way for people to engage with the credit system and be able to grow that credit so that they can be able to access some of those resources.
Affordable housing is a very subjective concept, and what may be obtainable to one person isn't necessarily obtainable for another. And at CHAPA, we really strive to meet people where they're at on the housing continuum by financing and investing in services and programs that can get them to the next stage in their journey.
The average credit score increased from 564 to 655. So that's been a huge boost for people who are just needing the opportunity to be able to apply for loans, purchase vehicles, apply for home loans.
And by empowering people to build their credit and maintain their credit, it allows for greater opportunities for housing stability and economic prosperity.